So this is 6.3b, elementary algebra, and we are more on factoring trinomials. Alright, so there is, in green, example number 4, and following the same pattern. We take our first term, leading coefficient, times our last one. Now we find two numbers multiplied together give us 72, added give us negative 17. So, in order to get a negative 17, both of the numbers we multiply to get 72 have to be negatives, because two negatives give us a positive, but two negatives added together will give us that negative 17. If you don't want to have to remember all that, just write them all down. They'll all pop up anyway. So 72 times 1, both of them are negative. We also have 72 times 1, but remember we don't really want to use that because it doesn't matter how much I add two positive numbers, I'm not going to get a negative. So I don't need to do the positive numbers. I can just put the negatives on there. 36 and 2. Let's see, 18 and 4. 72. Seems like there's, is it 24 and 3? So far I'm not getting 17 when I add those. Let's see, we have 12 and 6. Those multiply together to give me 72, but not 17. Let's see, 8 times 9. Whoa. 8 times 9 is 72, and 8 plus 9 is 17, so that works. Okay, so see how it does take a little bit of time, but negative 8x minus 9x plus 12. Alright, so in this case, I like to have this one as a positive, but I can switch it with this, but since this one's negative, it isn't going to do me any good, so I'm kind of stuck with the negative here. Alright, so let's go ahead and group. Parentheses around those, but remember I just pulled that negative out, so that's going to change the sign of everything. So that's what I don't like, but that's what I'm stuck with. So this 9 was a negative, now it's a positive, and this has to be a negative. Okay, so we flip that sign around. Alright, so now we're going to factor things out. What do I have common to both of those? I have a 2 and I have an x. And what do I have left? A 3x here and a 4, because I took the x completely out. What do I have here? I have a 3. And what do I have left? 3x. What do I have left over here? I have a 4. These are the same. Yay. So 2x minus 3 go together. 3x minus 4 go together. And at that place, I am done. Alright, so let's look at example 5. Now, I don't know if they get harder than this, but the numbers get bigger. I guess that's the only thing that gets to be a little bit of a pain. So let's look at 5. Yeah, 8x squared plus 26x minus 15. So 1. Multiply 8 times negative 15. And when we do that, we get negative 120. So that's my key right there. Two numbers multiplied together give me 120. Added together give me a positive 26. So one of them's got to be positive and one's negative, so that when I multiply, I get negative 120. And when I add, I get a positive 26. So let's just, let's just start listing them, I guess. I'll just pause here and go ahead and list them. So look at all of these that I've got so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm still going. But as I'm going through here, I'm kind of keeping an eye on this positive 26 here to see if I've got anything with a positive 26, and I do right here. 30 times negative 4 is negative 120. 30 plus negative 4 is a positive 26. So that's the one I want. Okay, so again, right here, my negative is there. I don't want that to be a negative. I want it a positive. So let's switch these around. Now again, you don't have to do it this way, but I just think it makes it so you don't have to mess with remembering to change the signs of everything. So parenthesis, parenthesis. And that plus sign is a gift from heaven. Okay, so let's see if we can factor out things here. Take out a 4 and an x there. Left with 2x minus 1. Because remember, that all goes away. You have to have something there, so it's a 1. And we're going to take out a, well, we could take out a 5, leaving me with 6x minus 3. But notice, this number left here and this number left here for the first time are not the same. So maybe we should try to factor out something else. So let's go ahead and write this the same as we had. But instead of factoring out a 5 out of this, let's factor out a 6. And that leaves me 5x minus, nope, can't factor an x or a 6 because I have a 15 here. So that isn't going to allow me to do that. So let's see, 4x times, so again, it is, I guess it's a little bit of trial and error as you kind of go through here. So again, we've got this here. What else can I take out? How about a 15? And when I take 15 out of 30, I have a 2 left. And a 15 out of this gives me a 1. Okay, so now those are the same. So if you're pulling things out and you find out what's left in the parentheses is not the same, then you're pulling out the wrong thing. You have to pull out a number such that when you have your parentheses done, they're going to be the same thing. So then I can put my non-parenthesis things together and my parenthesis things together, and we're done then. So let's look at example 6. We have 30x squared y minus 5xy squared minus 10y squared. Sorry, this is a y cubed. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is see if we can factor anything out. Is there anything common to each of these terms that we can pull out to simplify that before we get started? Yes, there is. There is a 5 common to each one of those, because 5 goes into 30, 5 goes into 5, and 5 goes into 10. What else? I have a y here, and a y here, and a y here. So remember, I take the smallest exponent there and I pull that out. Now I'm going to write what I have left. I've got a 6x squared left there. I've got a 1x left there. Oh, and a y, because I took one of the y's away, not both of them. Minus a 2y squared there. And again, this is just going to drag along with me. It's going to be part of the answer, but I don't even do anything with it. Let's just look at that right now. So, first number times the last one gives me negative 12. So I'm looking for two numbers multiplied together that give me negative 12. Okay, negative 12 and 1, 12, negative 1, 6, negative 2, negative 6, positive 2, 3, negative 4, negative 3, positive 4. I think that's it. Now, are there any in this group here that multiplied together give me negative 2? Yes, they all do. And added give me a -1. Yes, right there. 3 minus 4 is -1. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to rewrite this as 3xy plus 4xy minus 2y squared. Okay, so now when I add these together, what do I get? I get a +1, which is wrong. So let's put the right one in there. Okay, I could say I did that on purpose, but I didn't. Now when I add those, I get a -1, so I know they're right, but this doggone negative here. So again, I'm going to move this over here and this over there. So all I'm going to do is rewrite this in yellow. There. Now I have my plus sign there in the middle where I want. Makes life easier. Okay, so let's group these two together in factor and these two together in factor. We're still going to just kind of leave that 5y there. Alright, so we're going to make a parenthesis there and a parenthesis there. So what can we factor out of there? I can factor a 2 and an x out, and I'm left with a 3x minus 2y, right? And over here, I can factor out a y, and I'm left with 3x minus 2y. And lo and behold, what I have left in my parentheses are the same, so life is good. So, non-grouped stuff go together, and grouped stuff go together. And this 5y, you can't forget that. That needs to go on there too. Okay, so there's your answer. That is this factored down. So let's look real quick at example 7. You don't have to know physics in order to do this. It gives you a story problem there, and it gives you a formula, which again, you don't even have to know what this formula means. Okay, what they're saying is the equation that gives the height h of the ball above the ground at any time is this formula. Okay, so factor the right side of this equation. So we're going to factor this. So first of all, we're going to rewrite it as -16t squared plus 16t plus 32. Put it in the right order. Then we're going to get rid of this negative sign by pulling it out and changing the sign of everything in the parenthesis. Then we're going to factor this. Okay, so I can factor out more than just that negative. I can take a 16 out of there too. There, that's a lot easier to deal with. So this comes along, we make two parentheses, a t and 1, and a 2 there, and a 1 there, and that's going to be a negative, and that will be a positive. Okay, so because -2 times +1 is -2, -2 plus 1 is -1, which would be right there. Okay, so that's where that came from. So there's the formula. And so all I did was factored this thing right there into that. Now it says, find h when t is 2. So I'm going to put a 2 in here for t and a 2 in there and see what I get. So h equals -16 times 2 minus 2 times 2 plus 1. Because that gives me 0, my answer is going to be 0. Because anytime you multiply numbers together and one of the numbers you're multiplying is 0, you're getting 0. So h is 0. Alright, and that's it for 6.3. Now as I look at the homework assignments, they don't really get any harder than what we've just done, but I'll do a video with just doing a couple of them just to be safe.